Okay, let's talk about the second thing. Obviously, you obviously know this is coming.
What?
The explanation of the spot that made the rounds on the internet of the guy that thought it was a good idea to climb up on the trussels into the lighting fixture and jump onto the wrestlers below him and almost broke his neck in the process. Can you explain? Did you book that spot?
No.
Okay. Did
but
you know
I did approve it? Yeah.
You did approve that.
Yeah.
Okay. For future reference, you think that's like do you regret approving that spot? Do you think that wasn't the best idea?
Okay. Let me tell you what happened. So Aerostar, he's like an adrenaline junkie. You know, like there's guys that you wonder, have you ever seen those videos of like those girls in Russia that they're walking on the ledge of really high buildings and you're like, who the fuck would do that?
Yeah.
Like he's an adrenaline junkie and he's done that same thing. I think he even did it in Triple Mania. He's done that same dive from that height before and he had no problems. And he does another one where he does like a truss dive where he has his back to you and then he just dives backwards, right? And then he does another one, which he does off the third rope, where basically, imagine this, Disco. You're standing on the apron, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the ropes, right? He jumps up to the third rope with his back to the wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Then he gets in a fetal position, and he goes back kind of like in a cannonball and opens up, right? Mm-hmm. So you're totally trusting the guy behind you. He's a super adrenaline junkie, and he came up to me. He goes, "Hey, he was like, can I do this?" And I thought, it's a big show. I go, make sure that 3 people catch you. There were only 2 people there to catch him, but here's the worst part, because he's a friend of mine. When I saw him take that bump, and I was like, fuck. And so I went, they took him in an ambulance, and they took him in a stretcher, and they took him to an ambulance, and we have this like sign that we do between the wrestlers to make sure, to let me know that they're really all right. Because, so he let me know he was all right, and he actually smiled, and I was like, this crazy motherfucker. So he comes back into the dressing room. He's got a neck brace on, and he goes, they say I need this, but I don't really feel like I need it. But his head was kind of getting swollen right here, and he's telling me, like, what he thought. He was mad that it didn't come off, right? And he was trying to explain to me, he goes, why weren't there 3 guys there like you said? I go, fuck that, bro. You could have killed yourself. And he was like, no. I'm sure that I can do this again. So now I have to save him from himself because he's actually mad that it didn't come off like he wanted, and he wants to do it again.
Bro, like, let me tell you something.
You can't do that again.
Because when we watch wrestling today, we watch old ECW or New Jacks jumping off the balconies, and we see people, all these Twitter GIFs today, and guys are doing it, and guys are not dying, all right? But in all honesty, on a professional wrestling show, you have all these characters, all these spots you can do in the ring, all these things. If somebody's going to come up with an idea that that requires that the degree of difficulty is anything above 0%, okay, and you can die if you screw it up, you shouldn't be doing the move. You should not be. You shouldn't. If you can die doing a move, okay, and there's only a 2% chance you might get hurt. That's still that's like playing Russian roulette.
Yeah, no, and bro, let me tell you, here's the thing with me on that. He's done it a lot of times before, never had a problem before. Always in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, well, fuck, he got lucky. They caught him, but what about the time they don't? And we came very close to a huge accident. And I can make sure 5 guys catch him next time or 10 guys and nothing will happen. But I could not live with myself if something happened to him because, number 1, it's my responsibility. Number 2, he's my friend. You know what I'm saying? He's not a young guy, bro. He's like 45 years old.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck. Oh,
is he really?
Yeah, he don't give a fuck.
Wow.
I remember when I brought him to Impact, Sanjay was a big fan of his. And he was like, oh, I can't believe Aerostar's here. And he did some crazy thing where I thought he separated his shoulder, and they took him to the ambulance, and everybody was there looking at him, and he came back like nothing. And I'm thinking, fuck, this guy has a death wish. He's an adrenaline junkie, both. He don't give a fuck. He really wants to get a pop. I don't know what it is. But I just can't let him do that again. And he was that same day and the next day, he was still politicking for me to let him do it in Triple Mania. That's how crazy he is. Yeah, and I'm like, bro, I appreciate the passion. I appreciate it. I do, bro. I do. But we can't do that again. Yeah. Yeah.